Hey guys, can you pick out of the cat here out of all this stuff? There's Miss Clara, around but not too near. Once again, overnight oats. Can you eat them? Overnight oats. Can you eat them for breakfast? Okay, I just made a quick short or reel, or I don't know what the heck I just made, but overnight oats, water, puree pumpkin, dates, rolled oats, almond butter, cinnamon, sea salt, and nutmeg. Interesting. I forget how much it was. I'm not cheap. Nothing's cheap. Look how thick. I'm not big on thick. Fiber is 6 grams. That's not bad, really. But just not, again, I can understand why people don't like chia seeds, y'all, because it's a mouthfeel. I'm gonna try to eat them. I might heat them up and add a little oat milk to it. And, but not my thing. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and eat them because of the fiber. Otherwise, I'd probably return them. But y'all, let's get a bite of the stuff I do like. Loving these. I'm telling you what, the chia seeds with the pumpkin unsweetened oat milk and cinnamon are really good. God, I love these things, y'all. So anyway, it's about an hour video. We'll see if I can get it up. I'm trying, y'all. But yeah, so today's agenda, it's rainy, but I do think this afternoon we'll see. I don't think it's an all-day rain, but y'all, I didn't check the weather. So we'll see. So my goal is when I'm at my table, whether I'm doing art, sorting, every hour I'm going to get up and go do something else for a while. I'm not going to worry about alarms and limits and all that. I'm in the process of laundry. So it's perfect to get up, put it in. I got stuff going right now. Get in the dryer so I can actually move through. I have 2 big bags to do, and I have some tops and stuff down there. So I'm going to do that, and then I got to go through my bathroom and organize those clothes. So I'm just going to do them. I should have them done by the end of Sunday. Not a big deal, because I'm going to spend some time in my studio. So as I'm organizing and clearing out, you know, I'm finding things that randomly I know I can let go of. So here's like everyday shirt and pants. They're like little sticker things you iron on, like how like late 80s, early 90s, or is this 2000s? 1993, late 80s, early 90s. Love stuff like this, but I haven't used it. Chances are I'm not going to use it. And this is Legs Forever Catch It pantyhose. They're opaque. It was $3. It's so funny. This is my mother's writing. We worked for one of her friends in a little thrift store in a downtown Gaithersburg area. It's 100 to 160 pounds. Pretty sure I got them from Mimi and they just got lost, but some lucky person, y'all, is going to get that. So that's just right off the bat. The other thing, I was going down and grabbing some empty containers because I'm going to do sort of a large sort. So I'm going to just have coffee paper. Paper that I've coffee stained or espresso, tea, all that. Nothing else has been done to it, right? So maybe I'm ready to use it. Maybe I want to take it and add things to it. So right now, I'm a little dot crazy. So just making, I love dots. I've always loved dots. Now these are just hand painted dots, right? With acrylic. And again, so like this can become a page in one of my books, right? And then I'll do art and stuff, and it's a background, right? Or if I love it so much, it can be a plain page. Maybe I'll put a word on there. So this is some paper I got Temu. We got to talk about Temu. It's awesome paper. I just put dots on one side. Dots are the rage. It's so funny because I woke up one morning and I had to just do dots. And I was telling my supervisor, and who's awesome, by the way. And every day I put a picture book on her desk to read because I love picture books and she appreciates it. So I do it for a lot of people, but some people, you know, it has to be the right book. And there's an artist, and I can't think of her name, a Japanese artist who's known for her dots. It's a kid's picture book. Again, you guys, go to the library, look at kids' biographies about people. They're phenomenal. The artwork is phenomenal. I mean, there's just so many amazing stuff out there to look at. Or if you go to a bookstore, sit down and look at all that, you know, with no intention of buying it. But I feel this, if someone donated it, I would buy it for 50 cents. So anyway, her whole thing is about dots, right? Her whole art. I have a puzzle. I really liked her, and it's about her story. And like, I think she was born in 29 in Japan, and you know, she was super good at school, but she couldn't act like she was, kind of stuff. And her parents were like, oh, you're going to work at home now. And she kept doing her art. And then she ended up getting married, as one does, and started like teaching kids, and which her husband didn't approve of, but he seemed to let her done. And then she started schools, and she's done, I am combining two people. Okay, I'll be posting on my Instagram. Okay, let's go back to the dot lady. Yoga, anyway. No. So no one appreciated her art, needless to say. And she took off for America and lived in New York, poor, knew no one. Started doing her brand of art, which, let's face it, at the time was not the thing. God forbid, when people are innovative, how much it's not appreciated until it is, right? Or supported. Live Poor painted dots on everything. Ended up getting a show. Rest is history. So anyway, wow. Both books are great. But this woman who started this school, she's Indian. Well, she was Indian, Pakistan, and her part of her, she was on the Pakistan Divine. You know, I don't know the history of all that. But she ended up having schools for kids and ended up having them everywhere. I mean, really, people are amazing, right? A little different version of dots. So yeah, so this is just some dot paper on different things. So this will go like finished, right? Like I'm just gonna have a drawer, not just dots though for now. Make my life easier. I love this one. And it had like a couple of mixtures of colors. And this was something from the old Louvre book, Louis the 14th. Not necessarily wanted Louis the 14th, but I love the background of it. And now I love it, right? And this is an oil pastel crayon, right? They're cute. So I'm going to declare them like just ready to be pulled. This has got this pink. This is this National Geographic. Now, when I pulled it out, maybe I can do something the other side. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll use it just as it is. So anyway, that is going to go into finished. And then I'm going to have, actually, that's a little big. I mean, that's too small for these. I have, Claire is now laying in one of the boxes. I don't know. Maybe here, I don't know. So I'm just gonna do this for a little while. This is something I got at Temu. I love it. So this is a Temu story. You get a sheet of these papers, two-sided. I love stuff like this. So I asked at one of my class, like, are you, what do you think of Temu? People didn't think much. And I know you can tell by what people are doing and that they have the money, the disposable income to buy people who are hand making things and crafting things. And, you know, that's what, you know, I love to do. And then probably head towards that. Like, I'm not, obviously, just when they're something I want, I'm going to try to get something special. Because let's face it, I have enough right now. But there was an artist there, and I'm going to actually, when she posts something, reach out to her. She does something with what, I mean, she's studied, you know, like I think she said her major was between fine arts and production. Super interesting. Everyone there was just really interesting and lovely. You know, I'm part of the same tribe you feel a part of. But they, but apparently, I didn't hear it all, but she makes some kind of cool, like, rusted washi tape effect thing. And she said, yeah, they're ripping her off in Temu. And, you know, I can look at things and think, this looks like an artist thing, and I don't get it. Like, pieces of paper like this, nobody really can claim. I mean, everyone's doing this. All these artists, you can download these things and stuff. So this, I don't feel, scissors, you know, stuff like that. I don't feel, like somebody's not getting paid. But, you know, like, I did get this stencil. It was 98 cents. Now, it's 98 cents. It's not a great stencil, but for the messy artwork I do, it's fine. Did somebody design this and they just stole it from them? An artist I really like, Julie Faifan Bowser. She, on her Instagram, she showed the stencil she made, and she showed the one that's being sold on Temu. And yeah, so they totally are ripping off artists. And apparently copyright ends at our borders, which doesn't make sense, right? Does that mean people in England can do it? You know, we're talking about China. It's different. So I'm not really, I mean, I'm not really, I have had some stuff lately, but I'm not really buying it anymore. And that gives me the onus, is that the right word? To stop and not look at it. So yeah, I do think there's things you can get that they're not ripping off people, but it's a hard one. It's a hard one, but I understand why people who don't have a lot of money would go there, and they're getting so much bang for their buck, right? And it's not affecting their lives, and they want art stuff, and, you know, and they can't afford, you know, I love Tim Holtz stuff. And I really usually buy his ink pads. I'm going to go through all my ink pads and re-ink or see what I got. Here's a new color I would like, but I'm not going to get it until I've figured everything out. Like, I wouldn't buy that stuff from them. And I can't say, I mean, the thing with Tim Holtz, and if you don't know, Google Tim Holtz, he's phenomenal. And I've taken about 3 or 4 classes from him. And he's really evolved. But like a lot of his ephemera packs, he's buying in thrift stores and antiques and used sales, you know, estate sales, and reproducing it, right? So I don't know how all that works. Now, when it's an original piece of art, like if they were stealing his samples and selling it, like on scrapbook paper. So I don't know. It's a weird line there, I think. They are, and one of the reasons I'm going to quit pretty much is they apparently are really using it, well, using it also to get out their information and maybe you know, identity theft, stuff like that. One of the other things people are saying that it doesn't come. I've never had that issue. I do think they don't pack well. I've never returned anything. I've heard people say they return it quickly. Other people say they never hear back. So I don't understand. I guess it's like any company. People have complaints. But the thing, so I think, not today, but soon, I'm going to gather some of the stuff I got. I would like to show it anyway and see. So like, let me see. I got some scrapbooking paper. Now, you know, I mean, it's a point that they found someone who already did it instead of doing it. I mean, you know what I mean? You see mine, all of it's like this. This is a little pad. I just get things I really don't have anything of. I love this green. I call it Jane Chip Green. But this is like a textured paper. And it's just like, so like, you know. Like this was interesting. So these are blank diary. So you get all these interesting pieces of, you know, and they've already kind of frayed it and done all that. You know, a lot of envelopes, you know, vintage. So I don't know, is there someone who actually went through all the trouble and had this and they just totally, so I don't know. I mean, to me, this is like generic, right? I mean, I can see where the artist with her stencil, that is pretty, you know, and they do have, okay, this is my favorite and I've got to find one. Love this. But like, okay, so I got this thing. It's called Huang, I don't know. Anyway, so what it is, it's deco stickers, right? Now, obviously they didn't take this picture. So I guess in theory, you buy pictures. I don't know. So did they steal someone's photography? And really not thought about it. They use a lot of classics and stuff, but I don't know. So I'm not going to get anything remotely that like an artist did that's not getting paid for it. But like this is a white marker thing. It works really well. It probably won't last long, but you know, something like that. I don't feel like, you know, there's tons of these things. So I don't know. It's a thing, but I need to let it go anyway, because I think because the prices are so low, again, I would rather save my money, and when I can, like go buy some old photos or go buy, you know, handwritten letters from like a turn of the century, that kind of thing, or bills, stuff like that. People are selling them for outrageous prices. Of course, that's making a living. Sometimes I find stuff like that in old books, but I have an antique mall. I don't need anything right now, but I would probably poke around there and, you know, and I would like just tons and tons of vintage photos. So I've gone through some of my, I told Beverly that's what I want for Christmas. You know, you buy some and they're just people in New York or this or that. So, and I'm not quite done, but I'm going to go through all my vintage photos and people I don't know. Like if I don't know who they are, my niece and nephew sure as crap aren't going to know who they are, right? So, I start using them, not my real good pictures of my grandma and stuff, but you know, that I want to have all those set aside and put notes and stuff for the kids on it. And you know, put them, I don't know, in some kind of album that won't hurt them. Or, you know, I have boxes that are acid free. But yeah, and like, okay, so this guy, I cut him from an old Sears and Roebuck reissued catalog. So now they are selling something like this. Not exactly, but a lot of times they have a white thing and I don't like that. But this is, a lot of artists do this. So, you know, I don't know. So it's interesting, other than I'm not, you know, I'm calmed down and I don't need a lot. I did get a bunch of fun jewelry for, you know, Halloween. Honestly, and it's true, like, I could get like 12 pieces for maybe 2 on Amazon. So, and I will notice this, Amazon is starting to sell packages like Temu, like the packaging. They do a really good job of packaging and stuff. They have nailed what Americans want, like in this sort of genre. They really have. And then people who don't have a lot of money, you know. But if I saw something I absolutely knew, somebody else I can recognize, you know, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna think, oh yay, I got this cheaper. So anyway, but the moral of the story is I'm gonna stick to vintage stuff locally. So, but you know, if let's say, you know, down the line I start selling stuff, I can make a part-time job living as an artist, of course. And you see that there's underselling you and it affects. So my question is, I wonder how much it's affect like Tim Holtz Ranger's bottom line. I mean, because they sell like ink stuff and that they're not copying that I can see. I wouldn't buy it because I feel like that kind of stuff is just going to be inferior. But like his ephemera packs and stuff like that, if it's the exact, I don't know, y'all, I don't know. So, but it's definitely something, you know, I'm starting to notice. Even someone like their quilt pattern was stolen or the picture of the quilt. So yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, but anything that's super creative, I'm not gonna, well, as you'll see, I don't need it. But yeah, so anyway, I am gonna finish up my breakfast and talk to y'all about my day. I need some fruit, but I'm not going to go out till tomorrow morning. So, get myself together. So eating fruit's going to require me to go to the grocery store like every 3 days or something. Or do the apple thing, but berries, wow. So does frozen berries have the same amount of fiber, right? Anyway, I got to think it out. I'm going to throw out, I'm going to go in my, you know, I don't think I'll film it, but I'm going to go through my freezer and just take one little quadrant and anything that's expired, I'm going to throw it out. Yeah. But yeah, and laundry. Okay, I'll share with you something you know, I'm working on the bookcase in my, and maybe I'll film some of that for you today and then show you the bookcases I'm working on. My idea is right behind me, I want things I use all the time that I'm going to reach for, right? I don't reach for, you know, I don't need all my paintbrushes behind me because I don't reach for them all day long. I have a few I use and that's that, right? Like, yeah. So scissors, yes, differences, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I have to walk it through in my head. It's just the first go round. So in order to move stuff and I want to have what I'm using on the bookcases, I have to let go of stuff that's already on the bookcases that I'm not using. And I got to make decisions about soldering stuff, you know, jewelry making stuff, that kind of thing. Soldering stuff is very expensive. I think I might pack it up, put soldering and put it in my garage for a little bit and see if in a year I actually decide I want to try it. Because it's expensive to replace. Until maybe I meet someone who does that and I would give it to them, right? Or maybe I'll sell it. Stencil making, I actually want to make a ghost stencil. Let me write this down. My little piece of paper go. You know what? Normally I'd be like, oh my God, saying terrible things. Okay, so I can't find a piece of paper. It's a big deal. Okay. So I want to do a ghost stencil. I'm going to do it in a couple of different sizes. And I'm pretty sure I have everything. If I don't, then I am going to hand cut one. So ghost stencil. And then I have carving stamps. I can see myself doing that, right? But also I'm going to do embossing today and show you guys that. So I need to gather up all the embossing stuff and put it together. And some might be old or not work and, you know, just that kind of stuff. So that's where my general idea and guidance is. You know, I'm going to do laundry. I'm going to do dishes, that kind of stuff. I'm going to, my goal is, okay, so I had a really bad fall Thursday night and it was really scary and upsetting. And there were so many times had I been present, it wouldn't have happened. I'm getting this weird second wind later, so I'm not really getting into bed till 11:30 is not work for me. And it's fine for me to come home and do some art, but I have to set limits. I can't keep going, right? I think what I'm going to do is set my alarm 9 o'clock, go in bed and do some spiritual reading or listening. So as you saw, if you saw my little thing about what my laundry situation was, I have done it. Everything's hung up, put away. Literally 2 things had to be rewashed. I know I couldn't iron them. But for some reason, by the side of my bed, I was going to change sheets, right? Literally, my sheets have fallen off. I'm sleeping basically on half a mattress with no sheets, which I can't describe to you how that there is a psychotic break in me when that happens. It's happened a few times in my life. I remember one time, a long time ago, my friend wanted to do something. I'm just like, I don't have it. I'm like, I don't even have sheets on my bed. And for whatever reason, my mom wasn't in the mood to help me with all that. She's probably sick of me not feeling good because it upset her. And my friend came over. She helped me make my bed. We picked up some stuff, organized it, and then she took me out and we went and had dinner. That's a good friend. I know people mean to do things, but they don't. It's, the world's changed. It's just strange. And yeah, it's hard for me to ask for help, and yeah. But anyway, so I have a metal IKEA nightstand, and I had pulled out a drawer for whatever reason, looking for something, and didn't put it back, because sometimes they're very hard to put back. I left it right on the side of my bed. And then I had a bunch of the sheets. So I walked right on it. I'm pretty sure I can't put, I'm not even looking at it yet. That will be a tomorrow thing. And I fell hard. I'm so lucky because part of me hit that and got injured, and the other part landed on the sheets. that probably saved me. Y'all, let me adjust a little bit. Probably saved me from, you know, an emergency room trip, but it upset me terribly. I really felt vulnerable and alone and frightened. And so I had a really good, ugly hour cry. Really good one. And I probably needed it because I felt much, I mean, I'm exhausted. I'm still tired, emotionally tired, but I think it was necessary. So luckily I did not, I mean, oh my God, my right side is like, but I took a Tylenol that night. I got my heating pad out, did everything I could when I kind of felt like nothing was broken. I wasn't in like screaming pain. So I did that. I did move the thing. And I tried very hard to be kind to myself. I'm like, this is what it looks like when you're not medicated correctly. So, okay, you really, I'm working on intention and being in the moment. So I'm like, last night I turned my light on because I usually walk over and there's a light by my bed. Oh, that thing fell. And I'm very lucky I did not get thrown into vertigo either, because if I mess around with my head, but when I go to my ENT guy, I'm going to have a vertigo check and make sure, it might be tinge. Yeah, so it was terrible. It really was. And, so, you know, I, slept, got up, started my day, and I just thought about it all day. Like, this has got to be dealt with kindness. That's it. Yeah. You've been so afraid, and then it was a nightmare all day on the phone with the doctor's office yesterday. Let's just say at one point I said to her, did you get my message yesterday? I know what she said. She said, we haven't heard from the pharmacy. I said, I don't believe that. I said, did you get the, I said, when I had talked to her the day before, I was supposed to call the pharmacy and find out of pocket. $700, I'm not paying that. I called that office. I said, this is the amount. Could you have her call me? What her next step is. Never heard from her. That's why I called first thing at 9 o'clock in the morning. So she called me, I'm going to say 10:30. She didn't get it. I said, is that acceptable? That's not acceptable. I called immediately, within a half hour of our conversation with the information you requested, because it's very important to me and I wanted to solve it that day. And then everyone says the doctor can request real Adderall. And she was hesitating. I'm like, do you like get demerits? Like, do you get like money taken from you for doing this? I don't understand why do you think I'm abusing them? I mean, I don't understand. I said, I've taken generics. This one didn't work. I need my brain. I need a real Adderall that I know is going to work at least twice. And then I'll try a generic. But what do I do if it doesn't work? And then if I do it every 30 days, that costs me triple the money. Anyway, long story short, she didn't call me back that day. And I asked her, no matter what happens, could you call me back that day? It's a 2-day weekend and I had to take Xanax yesterday. Well, I took Ativan. So I thought, okay, I can't fire them right now, but I will make phone calls. I'm going to call a couple different people this weekend, see who they use. And maybe my next step of a doctor won't be the doctor. And I'm just going to start going on visits and talk to doctors and, you know, and find out and see what the deal. I mean, it's going to take me time and I'm not rushing. I do need someone that understands. I would like to find someone who understands brain health issues. So that's the goal. And I calmed down. I'm like, you're surviving. Yeah, your house is a mess, but you know, you're gonna, I'm really working off a plan. And like, I have all these tools and sometimes I can get to them and sometimes I can't. I'm just going to forgive myself for the times I can't and I fall. And then I'm just going to really, cause like my friend said, she goes, you've gotten a lot done. All things considered. So there's obviously a weird, invisible standard I've got going on. So I'm working on that and maybe that's the point. I don't know. So anyway, that's what's happening. So I'm here for the long ride. I you know, maybe the whole point of this is to get a real doctor because I really do need a doctor that cares or is going to advocate for me, right? And that's not happening here. So that's it. You know, one of the things I want is a doctor who pulls blood in the office because to me, it's just a nightmare to have to go do all that pre-COVID. Now I can't imagine sitting in a small office. Yeah. Anyway, I'll look at that. So what I'm going to do right now is I have about 25 minutes left on this hour of kind of hanging out here sorting. I brought up and I'm going to go down, switch my laundry, and I'm putting things in like piles so I can go through them. And then I'm going to have, I have a bunch of smaller boxes from work and I'm just going to fill them up. And then by the end of tomorrow night, I guess they want to know, I got to go online for the vets. Like how many boxes you have. Like I have this huge Ziploc bag full of stuff I just threw in. So I'm not sure how, I guess I can measure it. That's what they want to know, right? And then book up an appointment for them with what I have done. I guess you can't add stuff, right? But I think that's to get that done on every other week, that would save me a lot of time and effort. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm excited to share things. And, you know, it's very hard without the food bank because I know she would literally put it in the hands of people that she knew that would appreciate it and use it. But I'm just going to imagine that's what's happening. It's just getting there in a different way. Yeah. I mean, it's really about your perspective. You can't change these thoughts sometimes. You can change what you do with them and how you respond to them. And sometimes it's easier than others. And sometimes you have to have a minute and forgive yourself for what's going on. And, you know, yeah, that's what's happening. But I think my next break, I'm going to go and do the laundry thing, but I'm going to sit down with some tea. And I took this class from this Louise Fletcher. And it's interesting, I am learning. And it was a free thing called a taster course. And really what I took away from it is play. Like your authentic self, you know, sometimes I do something I have in my mind, but it always ends up different because it's me. But she really, you know, it's about abstract art. And anyway, I borrowed her book. Now, our library didn't have it. No one in the state of Maryland had bought it. There's a thing called OCLC. So it came from Nebraska. It's an amazing service. So I'm going to spend a little time with her today. Have my tea break kind of thing. Get my tea bag so I can show you what I will do with them in art. I'm also interested in this thing called flow stitching. And they were talking about it during the class. And Jane Chip says she just sits and does it like when she's watching TV. So from what I can gather, I got some books to look at it. Like I'm going to gather a bunch of different fabrics and you just do like embroidery thread and I think it's on her book. I'm so proud of myself. I set this book back where it should go. But I'm like here, right? I don't even know. There's some kind of, I mean, it might be bookbinding stuff. And then, so she sewed it onto paper, did that round and then just glued it on. And she has like a piece of tapestry and I'm not sure she's done more in the book, but little bits and bobs like that. So I wanted to start, I don't need to buy one thing. I almost bought an embroidery sampler. I'm like, because it's already ready for you. And I thought, okay, maybe put it in your cart and put it, you know, down below the cart. let's gather up stuff first and see what you can do. I mean, I took embroidery a long time ago, and I can Google and like find, get an embroidery book on stitches. So, yeah, and then there's these little things called clusters. Now I have this all written down, so when I sit down, I think, okay, what do I want to do, or what's out? Oh, I want to do slow stitching, or I want to do clusters, that kind of thing. So a cluster is, let me see, like maybe you use part of this, and then you would take maybe part of that ripped up, and then maybe, you know, something, a piece of that, and then you would add an image, you would staple it, you might add fiber. It's just a cluster of interesting little things you have. So part of what I'm working on today, and I'm very excited to be doing it, is to organize them in bins, right? Claire's in one of my, oh, she's out now. So I'm gonna make it very simple. This is where I could overdo it and be like, okay, coffee paper with dots. Paper with dots, but no coffee, right? So I'm gonna have, like, when I consider something finished, like this. There's a piece of paper that I did stenciling on, right? I'm gonna do some more of that. That's gonna go, I'm gonna have large, medium, and small. And, or maybe medium and small too. I have lots of containers. So anyway, so that will go boom in that. That's it. And then I'm gonna pull ones that I wanna use in my Jane chip. I have one signature made, I need to make two. And then I need to go watch a video and see how she binds them all together. So I really would like to finish that by tomorrow night. But that's what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll put you on fast forward on some of these. And then after I have that break, I'm going to come back, get some dishes done, put stuff away, clean around my coffee area, and then start a new batch of coffee. I do it almost every day. I make 4 cups, and then I use a little bit every day. And at the end, I let it sit overnight, and it's like dark dregs, and you get some really good stuff. So maybe I'll go through that whole process, do a little video on that. So anyway, yeah. And you know, I'm going to work on my nails this weekend. I got to start just sleeping with cream because they're so dry. And then I should use gloves for the coffee, but it's not happening, right? I could get them when I find them and set them there. That would be start number 1. But so the coffee sinks into my dry scalp. Like an old man, nicotine. So anyway, but yeah, so there's moments I'm still a little shook up. But I'm going to decide that it's something that I'm going to use to my benefit, and maybe what had to happen, meant to happen, and use that to move forward in a different way. I mean, it's still going to be me, but mostly the internal dialogue I have with myself. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm doing gratitude, but I also apologize to myself for things I didn't catch. And, you know, talk to that little girl that did nothing wrong. Right? And has felt like her whole life she was a problem. And she was the problem, right? She was the one. She was not good enough. You know, she should have been smart enough not to let it happen. She should, you know, there's so much. It's so complicated. And we don't talk about it as a society, really. Even, you know, this poor little girl that was kidnapped. You know, I had to take a Xanax that night because I had to stop watching. I was so upset, you know, and, you know, they couldn't even talk about like what could be going on because we've made it taboo, and it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't. It should be unacceptable behavior, and it should be in a dialogue. Maybe if we had a dialogue about it, it would start to change. I don't know, but I just do know that what's coming up, I'm going to share with y'all. And yeah, and I'm continuing to let stuff go, doing my tchotchkes, doing books. Took a little break because my lower back's been bothering me, but I've been going to acupuncture every week, which is really healthy for me. And it's not easy to fit it in my schedule, but I thought it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that my body feel better. So I've been doing that. I've been walking a little bit. I'm going to try to really increase my walking. Now's the time, perfect weather. And yeah, one day I felt so bad. I went out. I said, you have to go walk. And it did help, right? It releases. It's just, it's how the human body is. It's what we're meant to do. So all that stuff. And when days I can't do it, I'm going to forgive myself, move on. And know you can choose something differently in the next 5 minutes. Right? With food, it was always like, oh, well, I ate something bad for breakfast. I might as well eat all day. No, literally the next 5 minutes, you can choose differently. So anyway, we'll do some cooking, y'all. And we're going to do pumpkin stuff, Trader Joe's stuff. I'm busy, and that's okay. And I will get to everything eventually. And there's no time limit other than what I think so. But today is a loosey-goosey day. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to get up and run a couple errands. I'll take y'all with me. And then, yeah, come back. I hopefully, I don't know. I might just do a half hour out in the garage, an hour. I don't know. I don't see weed whacking happening. But I'll get to that. And it's, you know what? I have a very wild, you know, garden area. I do. That's fine. But there are some of the damn thistles. I hate them. I'm going to weed whack them down, y'all. I am. So, okay. That's it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tracy from the Mermaid Cove. And I so appreciative. Thank you if you're new. If you, again, introducing yourself that, you know, don't have, you know, I know people don't have Google accounts. But honestly, and hitting like and subscribing is really a nice thing to do that is free. And literally, maybe you're watching on TV and you have to grab your phone and do it. But anybody doing this, I mean, some people serve business for sure. And while eventually I would like to make money from it, it's not my business, right? It's my passion, really. And but it just is nice that when people do it. So, and we all need to be nice, pay it forward, be kind, all that stuff. All right, guys, I'll be checking in later. I just posted a long one, and this is going to be long. I meant to break this one down, and I'm going to try to do that, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. It's easier to post, but we'll see. But you guys, I just start talking. I don't want to stop. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you later.